your destination lecturer on this cruise, and I would like to welcome you to a presentation on the city of Liverpool, which is, of course, our next port of call. We are going to be in Liverpool on May 26, and that's from 7 a.m. in the morning until the all-on-board time, which is at 6:30 p.m. later that day. So we have a nice full day in the port of Liverpool in northern England. And I really like Liverpool a lot. I think this city has seen so much in the past and also in the present, and it has a great atmosphere. It has some of the best museums. It has great shopping. But you might also may want to go somewhere outside of Liverpool, use this port as a gateway to Chester or to Wales. There are several opportunities there. But let's go first through what's available for you to do in Liverpool itself. We have the very famous Liverpool waterfront with the Royal Liver Building, the Cunard Building, and the Port of Liverpool Building. And they built the new cruise terminal just 10 minutes walk from that UNESCO World Heritage Site, the waterfront. The terminal will also provide a shuttle bus that will take you into downtown Liverpool, and this bus is provided free of charge by the cruise terminal. So you can actually walk to the Liverpool One shopping mall, to the Albert Dock. There's lots to do walking, but if you want to go downtown, there's even a free shuttle bus. Our berth is near the pierhead, the new cruise terminal, very close to the Albert Dock, where all the museums are. It's about 3/4 of a mile from there into the city center, and it's only 800 yards to the Albert Dock and to the museums. In Liverpool, they have lots of taxis available. They are all metered and they're regulated, and they always have a registration plate on their trunk, and that states the authority they're registered with. And they usually also have a price list. And as I said, they're all metered, and they are in special taxi stands. They're not supposed to be hailed on the street, but most people do it anyway, and if they're available, they will stop for you. You can take a taxi anywhere in Liverpool. A taxi ride downtown takes only 5 minutes, but as I said, there's also a free shuttle bus. There is at a short walkway, just a few yards, is a monument from the pier and the Albert Dock. There is a monument dedicated to the engine room crew of the Titanic, because they all came from Liverpool. And it doesn't really say anything on this monument, but it is made for the Titanic. The history of Liverpool can be traced back to the year 1190, when the place was known as Liverpool, and possibly that meant a pool or creek with muddy water. And the origins of the city of Liverpool itself can be dated back to August 28th in 1207, when King John advertised the establishment of a new borough, Liverpool, and he invited settlers to come and take up their holdings there. A lot of people did, and Liverpool grew, and it became a very important port for England in the 1700s and the 1800s. It has also a connection with the slave trade. Almost every second slave that was ever in the world came one time during his day, came through the port of Liverpool. And they actually have the first slavery museum that was ever opened in the world. They have long, very strong developments and links with India, with the Far East, through the East India Company that had a monopoly on the trade. And Liverpool was all about a trade city and a harbor city. During the 1840s, Irish migrants began arriving in Liverpool by the thousands due to the Great Famine that happened in Ireland. Almost 300,000 of them came in the year 1847. And after this Great Famine time, 25% of the city of Liverpool was Irish-born. And the Irish still have a huge influence on the city of Liverpool. It's a very unique place that Liverpool occupies in the UK and in the Irish political history. The Albert Dock is, that you can see on this picture, is one of the biggest tourist attractions in Liverpool. It's an old dock, but it was done up and it's now housing museums. Liverpool today has a lot of cultural attractions, and tourism has become a significant factor in the economy there. In the 1980s, they suddenly realized that, yes, the Beatles came from Liverpool, and the first time in the 1980s, 20 years after it happened, they started making money with that heritage. Now they have, of course, a nice museum and tours dedicated to the history of the Beatles as well. The riverfront of Liverpool was designated a World Heritage Site in the year 2004, and Liverpool was also the City of Culture of the year 2008. So the closest area that you can go to, only 800 yards, is the tastefully redeveloped Albert Dock. There you will find, for example, the Liverpool Tate Gallery, highly acclaimed gallery. It's the northern outpost of the famous London Tate Gallery. And actually, they are open 10 in the morning until 5 p.m. and it's free entry. You can make a donation if you want, but entry is free, except for the major exhibitions that they sometimes put up. And it's a fantastic art gallery. Also in the Albert Dock, you will find what I think is the best maritime museum in the whole world. It's absolutely fantastic. Liverpool's gateway to the world. The museum is all about the big ships, about the Titanic, the Lusitania. It also has, in one section, the slave trade museum. That's part of the maritime museum, at least part of the same building. So it brings alive the story of mass emigration, and it also reflects on the brutal slave trade. Fantastic museum, also free entry. Right nearby the pier, behind the Albert Dock, is the new Echo Arena. Echo is the newspaper in Liverpool. Actually, they're sponsoring this arena. When you walk through the city, you will always hear people shouting out Echo, and that means they are newspaper sellers, they're vendors, and they want to sell the local newspaper, which is called Echo. The Echo Arena is now Liverpool's prime venue for concerts and sport events. And the newest addition, right next to the arena, is the Echo Wheel of Liverpool that graces the skyline between the Albert Dock and the arena and the convention center. It has 42 fully enclosed air-conditioned capsules, and you can look out on a breathtaking 330 degrees view of Liverpool, the Mersey River, the Welsh Mountains, and the waterfront. The journey time is approximately 10 to 12 minutes, but in your ticket you have 3 rotations, and it's accompanied by a local commentary. And it costs £5.50 to go on the Echo Wheel. For that, you need no transportation. That's all walking distance from the pier. If you walk out of the pier, you will notice this building, which is just an office building, and there's nothing on it saying anything, but that's actually the former White Star building from the White Star Line that owned the Titanic. And after the news came through that the Titanic sank or had an accident, at first they didn't know what happened to it. All these people that had family on the ship went to this building, and it was from one of the balconies in this building that it was announced by the White Star Line that indeed the Titanic had sunk. This is the Titanic Memorial around the dock area. You can still see some bomb damage in this area. It doesn't have the name Titanic anywhere on it, but if you see this monument, this is what it is. A lot of the crew members on the Titanic were actually from Liverpool, and there were whole streets that lost all the fathers in this accident. The heritage site stretches from the Albert Dock to the pier head and the Stanley Dock, which is the pier head with all the famous buildings. For example, of course, here you can see it, the 3 buildings called the 3 Graces. And you can usually walk inside of them. They're office buildings. So There might be somebody at the door, but if you ask nicely, politely, they will usually let you have a look, and you can see also the inside. The first building is the Liver Building. That's actually my favorite. It was founded in 1911, and it's a historic building and the headquarters of the Royal Liver Friendly Society. And on top of this building are the liver birds. The liver birds are the city's emblem, like the most famous thing about the city is their liver birds, and they have a legend that says if they fly away, a great catastrophe will befall the city. Opposite this building, the Mersey ferries are leaving. They just go across the river, and they are a well-loved icon of the area. They were started in the 13th century already by monks, and they're the oldest regular ferry service in Europe. A little walk in towards the city center, you will see the St. George's Hall, which is widely regarded as the best example of neoclassical buildings in Europe. It's absolutely beautiful inside. It's a A-grade 1 listed building constructed in the early 1800s, and it has a lot of civil functions. Has a great organ inside that was built by Henry Willis and completed in 1855. This is the outside and the park of the St. George's Hall, and in front of it is St. John's Garden, a small memorial park there as well. This is opposite, very close to the train station. Liverpool was badly hit by the bombings of World War II, and today one of the most vivid symbols of the Liverpool Blitz is the burned out shell of St. Luke's Church, located in the city centre. The church was destroyed on May 5th, 1941. And it's still standing as it was left after the firebombing. Has a very prominent position in the city centre, and it is left as a stark reminder of what Liverpool endured during the war. Now they have trees growing out of the shell. The Liverpool Institute was originally a school. Now it is again a school, but today it is a school for music and art called LIPA. LIPA means Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts. It was founded by Paul McCartney, probably one of the most famous recent sons of the city. And it was funded also by him. And people from all over the world can learn music and music management in the LIPA school. Opposite the LIPA, you will find the Anglican Cathedral. Liverpool is a city of 2 cathedrals, the Catholic and the Anglican one. And the Anglican one on St. James Mount is open from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. It doesn't cost anything to go in there. And it is a fantastic monument, the biggest cathedral in the UK and the 5th biggest on the planet. It also possesses Britain's largest church organ, and it has the world's widest, highest Gothic arches and the highest and heaviest peal of bells. So it's well worth a visit, and go inside the Anglican Cathedral, absolutely stunning. This is another picture of it. It was built in 1902, or that's rather when they laid the first cornerstone. It was finally completed very late in 1978 with Queen Elizabeth II attending the ceremony. This is the Walker Art Gallery in the city centre. It is home to a fine collection of paintings, drawings, sculptures from the 14th to the 20th century, and one of the most important venues for temporary exhibitions. The Walker Art Gallery also is free, for entrance is free, and it opens at 10 in the morning and stays open until 5 p.m. It's in William Brown Street, right in the city centre. Next to it is the World Museum in Liverpool. That's an entertaining museum that covers excuse me, natural history, science, space, technology. They also have an aquarium and a free planetarium, and it's also free of charge, as every public museum in the UK is. You've seen the fantastic Anglican Cathedral. The Catholic one is much more modern. And because the Catholic Cathedral has a very modern style and it is home to the Irish community, they call it Paddy's Wigwam. The original name is Christ the King Cathedral, and it was opened in 1967. It is open from 8 in the morning until 6 p.m. and it's in an area called Mount Pleasant. If you go on any of the city's city tours, you will of course pass both of the cathedrals. The Roman Catholic one is a little bit further to walk to, but still within walking distance. The town hall is the oldest of the Grade 1 listed buildings in Liverpool. It's located on the top of Castle Street and dates back from 1754. It is of Georgian architecture, and it's one of the most extravagantly decorated civic buildings anywhere in Britain. Usually not open to the public, but worth a picture from the outside anyway. And nearby you also see the Empire Theatre, one of the old big theatres of Liverpool, and the Adelphi Hotel, which in the past was considered to be one of the finest hotels anywhere in the world, and this is where the rich and famous that went to live in the New World, in America, for example, when they left from Liverpool, they stayed the last night at the Adelphi Hotel. Most of the people could not afford the Adelphi Hotel. They slept somewhere in the streets before emigrating to America or Australia. Liverpool Lime Street Station is right in the downtown. It's the city's main railway station, and this connects you to Manchester, to Leeds, to the north, anywhere you want to go. They have train services there. I wouldn't go too far away from Liverpool. We're only there for a day. The city has enough to offer. If you're not, you can go on an excursion into the countryside. That's wonderful, but another city, I would rather stay and see Liverpool instead of going to on the train. But Liverpool Lime Street Station has one speciality, and that's the history. It was the first ever commercial railway line ever opened, and that was the line from Liverpool to Manchester, which opened in 1830, and they had a very famous opening there. This is the Philharmonic Dining Room, probably the nicest pub in Liverpool. It's opposite the Philharmonic Hall, and it's one of the hop-on, hop-off buses stops. This pub is truly an experience. John Lennon used to be a regular there in his student days, but it's absolutely stunning, beautifully inside. When you decide to spend your day in Liverpool itself, you can get a Liverpool Smart Card for the day. It's valid 24 hours, and it gives you free travel on selected buses and discounts in shops and free admission to many city attractions. And the card costs £25 for the whole day. They also have Chinatown in Liverpool, because Liverpool has one of the oldest established Chinese communities in Europe. The trade links between China and Britain via the ports of Shanghai and Liverpool were instrumental in establishing the Chinese community in the city. Today, Shanghai and Liverpool are twin cities. The first vessel arrived in Liverpool directly from China in 1834. And this new gate to Chinatown at the top of Nelson Street, this Chinese arch, was assembled in the year 2000. It was built in Shanghai and then brought to Liverpool. And it's kind of marking the redevelopment of the Chinatown area, which is still continuing today. Another famous place in Liverpool is Sefton Park, a beautiful hideaway in the middle of a busy student area. The park is beautiful with lots of city walks and a boating lake and a fully restored glass house. And one of the most beautiful Tudor manor houses is the Speak Hall, one of Liverpool's oldest buildings. This is not in the city centre, and you would have to go on an organized tour organized by the tourist office to visit Speak Hall. Talking about the tourist office, in Liverpool they have the hop-on, hop-off bus again. It departs every 30 minutes, and each tour has 12 stops, starting at the famous Liver buildings, at Albert Dock, or downtown in the city centre. This is the route, so you don't need to go anywhere to get this bus. It costs £8, and you can get it right outside the pier, in front of the Liver buildings, or in front of the Albert Dock, 800 yards to walk. It's a nice little tour around the city with commentary on headphones. Alternatively, they have something really special, the Yellow Duck Marine Tour. And that's an authentic World War II landing vehicle that begins the tour on dry land, and then at Albert Dock, it enters the water. It's one of these amphibian vehicles. Good fun. And with a live commentary, they make a dramatic splashdown in the Salthouse Dock, and then ending at Albert Dock and start at Albert Dock as well. That's really a trip you will never forget, and you get the tickets there at the Albert Dock. Also organized by the city of Liverpool is a Beatles tour that will take you around the milestone locations where the members of the Beatles lived, and it's a 2-hour tour organized by the city center, by the city tourist information. Just outside, opposite the Albert Dock, outside from the pier, we have the Liverpool One Mall. And Liverpool has invested £800 million in developing this new area for leisure and retail. It's called Liverpool One. It just opened in 2008. And the core hours for all the shops are 9:30 until 8 p.m. So if you just want to go shopping, no need to take a bus, just walk over to Liverpool One and you will find anything you need. Liverpool is also soccer mad. They have 2 First League teams, the FC Liverpool and the FC Everton, and they of course all sell their souvenirs everywhere. And as I mentioned before, Liverpool is of course the city of the Beatles, and it took them until the mid-80s to realize that there was tourism potential in the fact that the most famous band in the world came from their city. So now they have museums, they have streets named after the Fab Four members, and their old hangouts have been preserved. Famous sites include Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields, as well as the houses of the band members. They actually were founded in Liverpool in the year 1956, and they produced 56 #1 records in Britain, more than anybody else. This is Matthew Street, the site of the famous Cavern Club, where the Beatles performed over 300 times. And the Cavern Club has been rebuilt, so you can also visit it. That's what it looks like. And here we have the Penny Lane sign, famous from a song. And of course, this is the Beatles story. That's a multimedia exhibition that chronicles the days of the band from Hamburg to their breakup. And they have a multilingual audio tour there. But this museum is privately founded, so you have to pay to get in there. It's in Albert Dock, and it costs around £10. And they have concessions for £7. They're open from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m. And the address is Britannia Vaults in the Albert Dock. It's a 5-minute walk from our pier. And they have a shop with Beatles memorabilia. They have 2, one in Matthew Street, this one, and then one also in the museum. So what do they eat in Liverpool? They have a famous dish called scouse. It's a type of lamb and beef stew, and the word comes from lobscouse, originally lobscouse or lapskaus, Norwegian stew, and it refers to a meat-based stew commonly eaten by sailors throughout Northern Europe and became very popular in a seaport such as Liverpool, and now it's called the scouse. Liverpool also has a beach, not in the city centre, but in nearby Southport. It's north of Liverpool. It would be a 30-minute ride on a taxi, but local transportation can also get you there. It's nice for long walks. If you go on a tour from Liverpool, you can visit the Lake District or you can visit Wales. The city is very conveniently located. For the Lake District, you go to the city of Bowness, and it's a beautiful little place with lots of cafes and Victorian and Edwardian buildings. And then it's bordering Lake Windermere, the largest natural lake in England. It's 12 miles long and 220 feet deep, and it's lined with wooden fells, bays, and small villages. It's really, really beautiful. If you rather go to northern Wales, there's a small village in Dee Valley that can be visited, Llangollen, and there's also the Chilk Castle that's owned by the National Trust, and it was built in the 13th century. Another castle, that's the Kirk Castle again, another castle in Wales is County Castle. This is actually a ruin, but a very well preserved ruin, also built in the 13th century, and it has 21 towers and 3 fortified gates. Chester is a very beautiful town in northern England. It began its life as Deva, it was called Deva in the Roman era, when the Romans were in Britain, and some of the Roman walls are still visible there. And Chester is a very beautiful city to visit, and it has a great 13th century Norman cathedral that was originally built as an abbey church. So whatever you're planning to do in Liverpool, I hope you have a great day. I have here the address of the Liverpool Tourist Office. They're in Whitechapel, that's downtown, about half a mile from the pier, and a last picture of the famous Liver building. So have a great time in Liverpool, and if you have any additional question, please check the Petra for my desk hours on deck number 7. Thank you.